gathered here to honor a woman activist. A woman activist that has never worked alone, but has worked with all the allies in the room. And that's important because one person cannot do it all, but one person can be that catalyst. And Becky Lockwood has been our catalyst and our agent for change here in the Valley and throughout Massachusetts for the last 12 years that she has been the leader of the Center for Women and Communities. As an old UMass grad, I will honor the Every Woman Center. Because it is that legacy, that 40 years of legacy of the Every Woman Center and now the Center for Women and Communities that has made that lasting impression and that lasting voice of justice for every woman and man that's needed this center for the things that matter in their lives. Victims of sexual assault and survivors of sexual assault need a group of people committed to them that not only understand what they're going through, but can take them through that process of healing and seeking justice. Certainly our office plays a part in sexual assault violence when we prosecute cases. But without the ear and the heart and the soul to be here for women in their toughest of times, in the greatest crisis they may ever experience, we can't do anything for those women. We need to have that support that's right here at the Center for Women and Communities. And at the center of Women and Communities, despite her humility, is Becky Lockwood. She's been that heart, that soul, and that intellect to move an agenda forward, to break those barriers that we all know exist in the world of sexual violence. To break down those barriers, institutional barriers, that happen here at UMass and throughout our community and our society. We may think that UMass is a progressive, open institution, and it does do those things, but it also has many barriers. And she's the one that has been that woman's activist to say, we need to break down those barriers. And certainly it's made a huge difference. I mentioned her humility, but just as importantly has been her passion. She's been committed to the mission of the Center for Women and Community. The mission to make sure that there is a safe and supportive place at UMass and in the Valley for victims and survivors of sexual assault and rape and domestic violence. This has been the beacon for women and men who've been violated, who've experienced the worst assault that they're ever going to experience in their entire life. And they come here for that healing and for that justice. Jane Doe has been a leader in Massachusetts. And Jane Doe hasn't acted alone or worked alone. They've always had this partnership out in the Pioneer Valley. That progressive voice, that innovative spirit. When Becky goes to Boston and meets with Jane Doe, or meets with the governor's counselor on sexual assault and domestic violence, she brings the voice of everybody here in this room that says, we're going to end sexual assaults on our college campuses. We're going to end domestic violence. We're going to wear white ribbons to change the face of violence in our society. We're going to include people, not exclude them. And that's what makes this center and Becky Lockwood so different from many of the people that work in the justice field. She includes all of us, so that not only does she have a voice, but we have a voice through her. And it's really that listening skill that really distinguishes Becky from just about anybody I've ever met in this field of social justice. And it is about social justice. It's breaking down those barriers, it's seeking justice, it's making sure that women are empowered to move on beyond their assault that they know that they are a whole person and that we as a society support them. And Becky, you've done an incredible job supporting each and every person who's ever come here. They've left here knowing that they have the dignity and they have the respect of everybody who works with them. So thank you, Becky. Thank you for all you've done. Thank you for the team that you've built here. Their spirit can't be broken. And the spirit of the women and men that need help when they come here for support, they won't be broken when they leave here. They've been built, they've been healed, they've been carried on your shoulders. And they'll be carried for many years to come. Because the one thing that happens with a survivor of sexual assault is that they know that they can always come back. And they know that there'll always be support here. I want to conclude with one of the things that's in front of this poster. And it really talks about transforming. We have an opportunity in the next months and years ahead to transform our culture. What do I mean by transforming the culture? It's changing the culture of violence in our society. It's being the active bystander that says that sexual violence on our campuses won't be allowed, that domestic violence in our homes will not be condoned. We have a chance to transform. And the transformational forces that will happen are here in this room. From the University of Mass, to Becky Lockwood, to Amy Waldman, to Marion Winters, and from all the women and men that are survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault. So it's an honor to be here today with you, Becky, and to know that as a district attorney, that when I seek justice, I have a best friend, a best ally, and somebody that has a heart of gold. So congratulations.